there, everyone. Welcome. I hope you are doing okay. I hope you are ready for this. I will just give a trigger warning. This is a case of domestic abuse, so some might find that upsetting. Obviously, if you do switch out and come back to another video when I do them. So I'm going to start this video off playing the police body cam footage. Sorry about that. There's a bit of noise going on in the background. The police body cam footage to this, and then we'll dive straight in. Maybe we will. Why is it doing that? Right, maybe I have to stay on the page. Hey, no. Bear with me. Technical difficulties. I had everything.
All right.
What? I don't know why I do that when I come off the page, so I'm not going to be able to see the chat for a minute.
What's your name? What's your name? Kiena. Kiena. What's happened? He's down. Before you got out. No, he's downstairs with my colleague. Don't worry. Is it you that's called us? Matt, just try and take a deep breath, okay? We're here to help. Have you got a baby? Yeah. Where's your baby? Inside. Are you pregnant? Yeah. Sorry, I got a bit confused then when you said he's 31 weeks pregnant. Right, okay. So when are you due then? About 8 weeks? Yeah. Matt, listen. Just calm down, all right? We're here to help you. It's not good if you're pregnant. Getting this emotional, right? So just try. Listen. Just take deep breaths, okay?
The physical abuse has gradually got worse and worse.
Okay.
The other night, I got absolutely leathered around this house while she was in her bedroom.
Did you report that to us?
No, I didn't.
Right, okay.
Because he's also involved.
Right.
When you say leathered, what do you mean?
Like, I was strangled to the floor. He had a bath here, so she has a bath that's like I put onto the floor.
Yeah.
And he dumped my head into that and said he was going to drown me in the bath. Okay. He strangled me on the floor. This was the remote that he threw at my head.
Right.
And you can see the marks from that.
Yeah.
I have pictures of so I'll get one of my friends to send some photos across going through food at the wall.
Right.
I tried to get out through the window, which is what has led my legs to be back black and blue.
Right.
When I was 7 months pregnant, I did call for help, and you came round.
Okay.
When they were there, while she ran away, he threatened me that he would make me get rid of my child, or my child would be taken off me because he would play on my mental health. I told him that he'd given me a black eye, which I've had a photo of. When they came round, the woman said, "Has he done that?" And I said, "Yeah." And she said, "Are you going to report it?" And she said, "No." I said, "No." And she said, "Well, there's nothing I can do about it. This is your decision."
He said he's tried to drown you.
Yeah.
He's attacked you.
He has had a drill turned on in my face, threatening to drill the teeth out of my mouth. But because he didn't, it's fine. I still have that teeth, so it's not a problem. He doesn't see a problem with that.
Okay. So he's done that. What else?
He gave me a black eye whilst I was pregnant.
I punching you.
I'd say more of a slap, to be honest. He's obviously a lot bigger than me, so
okay.
That can hurt me.
Okay.
He slapped me, which gave me black eye, so it hit me onto the floor. And I was 7 months pregnant.
Okay, so he slapped you.
Yeah.
What else?
He strangles me most regularly.
Hello.
Hello.
You alright? How old baby? 8 months. Whereabouts are you hurt? I was in the head obvious one. Anywhere else you got any injuries at all?
I don't think you can see the injuries, but I've got my my neck really hurts because the next one's stiff and my wrist as well, but I haven't looked.
Right. Do you know what's happened? Like how he's done?
Yeah, well, this is. I don't know. 1 minute, I can't think straight.
It's all right. You take your time.
So he's here. He's here.
Outside the flat.
I'm
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
In fact, it's probably around like this area where he's hit my head.
Yeah.
I've obviously.
So he's pushed the door into you, has he?
Yeah, he smashed the door straight off me.
Right.
And
you've passed out here. Then
I passed out here, and I woke up with my head facing to the sofa, and she was screaming.
Yeah.
Obviously, I've seen all the blood, and then I came out here.
Yeah.
Came to go down here.
Yeah.
To the window, and when I looked out the window, he was getting into a taxi, and I said, "Help me! Help me! You've knocked me out.
Yeah.
I need you to help because I'm here."
Yeah.
And he said, "This is your own problem." Got in the taxi and left.
So that was the police body cam footage. Hang on, let me stop this before we let me get rid of that. And we'll go on another page. So that was the police body cam footage of when the police were called on several occasions to Kiena's home. Now, you can see the first time they went there was when she was pregnant. She mentions that in the second video, and then there's the third video where the police are then called out again. Now, obviously, this went on for quite some time now. The two of them met in the January of 2022, and there was already some alarm bells there. And if you're on the outside looking in, you'd see them. But he was with her, and within a week, he was getting her name tattooed on him, and within 3 months, he'd proposed marriage, and then she described the relationship as then having gone downhill, and it was a nightmare. She no longer had that sort of fairy tale relationship with this man, and this man is Ryan Wellings. Now, what she then did, obviously, as a result of everything that she was going through with this man, it's really horrible to think about. But she then takes her baby to a friend, and let me just get that on. This is the door cam footage of her taking this baby to a friend who she says is a good friend or was a good friend. And apparently, I've seen today that she let herself in while her friend was in the shower. She then took herself off to the railway line, and then she took her own life as a result of this monster. Do you know what, Karen? I kind of feel like the police are desensitized to it as well, because even the male police officers, but specifically the female police officer, I didn't find her very warming, comforting, sympathetic, empathetic. She was just, hey, what's wrong? What's wrong? Calm down. Try and breathe. Like, with no empathy to this poor woman and what she's going through. And it might be because, she's seen it a million times before. They turn out, and then the person that calls them doesn't do anything. And as much as that might be frustrating for them, it's their job to answer these calls and do it respectfully and diligently, and as, in the best that they can be. They didn't, no. And the men were even sort of like, oh, right, okay, all right, yeah, all right, he did what? He did what? It's just a really tragic case. I think, hang on, let me just see if I can find it very quickly. I don't know, Kiena. Let There was a 999 call that I didn't have. Found it afterwards. Found it afterwards, guys. It was the call before they turned out where she blacked out. I don't think it's going to pull it up for me. Okay, no, it's not going to pull that up for me. So, as a result of her taking her own life, she'd already written a note, whatever you want to call it, on her phone. And I'm going to pull that up for you. I'm going to try and pull that up for you. Where is my phone? Where is my phone? Oh, God. I want the phone. Where's my picture of the phone? Okay, let me. She left a message on her phone, and I'll show that to you in a minute, but I'll show you this page first. We'll go through this page. So this article basically goes into a bit more of how this guy made Kiena's life hell. So this is The Guardian. I quite like The Guardian. It's a bit of a better newspaper to read. So the horrific violence, bullying and belittling ended with the unaliving of a previously happy-go-lucky woman. Now, Kiena Dawes' final note was as heartbreaking as it was chilling, and it is heartbreaking and it is chilling. She talked of being strong and having dreams of fighting hard, but losing after going through pain that no one could imagine. And we know she took her own life, and she blamed Ryan Wellings for it, saying that Ryan Wellings killed me. And it was a message from beyond the grave, which it was, which then led to this man actually being arrested. He was actually arrested for manslaughter. Then he went to court and he was tried. The jurors found him guilty of assault and coercive controlling behavior, but not guilty of manslaughter, which was a kick in the teeth to her family. Our justice system sucks. But he's the reason that she took her life, and this is one of the first cases of this being tried for someone taking their life as a result of domestic violence. I'll show you the phone. So you should be able to see the phone in 1 second. So her phone says, "The end. I fought hard. I fought long. I went through pain that no one could imagine. No one will know what I went through. I was murdered. Slowly. They tortured me till there was nothing left. I lost my fight, but I didn't give up my battle. I fought till the end. Ryan Wellings killed me. Redaction. Helped torture me. He ruined every bit of strength I had left, and I didn't deserve it. I didn't ask for it, and I hope my life saves another by the police services acting faster." Now, during the trial, the jurors heard a lot of evidence, and it was repeated evidence of the violence that he carried out on Kiena, how he tried to strangle her with an iPhone charger cable, how he screamed at her that she was a SLHG, he threw furniture at her and told her to unalive herself, which she did. He got a drill and put it to her face and told her that he would drill the teeth out of her mouth. And then he threatened to make Kiena look like the TV presenter who had acid thrown over her, Katie Piper. And this pattern continued. It was a toxic relationship. And we know that it can take up to 7 times before someone will even admit that they're going through DV, let alone leave the situation. And she did have a history of mental health issues. That's well published, and the defense did try to use that against her, but that's their job. And I honestly still say to this day, do not know how these people sleep at night. The court heard that in July 2021, Wellings gave Kiena, 6 months pregnant at the time, a black eye. She rang the police, but before they arrived, he convinced her that the baby would be taken off her. So she ended up telling the officers that it was just a verbal argument. Now, that should have been flagged up by the midwifery services because she is pregnant, and that should have been investigated further, not just, if in a lot of cases where police turn up to a house, there's children in the house, they will do a referral to the health visitor. Now, jurors were given a warning before being shown images of Kiena after her final attack, which was 11 days before she died. And the last time he attacked her, I believe it was 4 days later. Well, that last attack put her in hospital, and then she ended up taking her own life 4 days later. Now, she showed them around the house. She showed them that she'd passed out, that the baby had been sleeping next to her or on the couch where they were, and he'd left the baby there. And when she came around, the baby was screaming. So he gave no thoughts to the child's safety, no thoughts to her safety. I mean, she could have been dead, right? And he's just effed off and left her and the baby on the floor. The police, PC Stephanie Sawyer, described the scene. There was blood on the floor in the communal corridor. Kiena was sat on the floor with the door open with her daughter between her legs, and she was covered in blood. On her hands, on her face, she was upset and she was crying, and she had a cut to the right of her head, and there was a broken towel rail in the bathroom. And if you look carefully, you can see it in that footage. The officer dressed Kiena's 8-month-old daughter, who was then taken to her grandmother, and then Kiena was taken to hospital for treatment. Now, apparently in a police statement, Ryan Wellings had called her a schizophrenic freak during a row. And they do that. And during the row, had launched her into a bathroom radiator. That caused it to then break from the wall, had slammed the door towards her, hitting her head, causing her to black out and cut her head, but he pissed off and left her. Throughout the trial, Wellings denied being the villain. He insisted that the images of the injuries were the result of him restraining her. Oh, it wasn't me. I didn't do it. I was just restraining her. He's an arsehole. And, well, he's accused her of hitting him. And I just grabbed her by the arms is what he was trying to make. And then the defense lawyer said that she was a very troubled young lady with a history of mental health problems, unaliving attempts. And I'm not being funny. She's not long had a baby either. And she's going through all of this. And we're not hearing about what sort of support she was given by the services, because, the police were called a few times. And at these points, the services should have been involved, if not for the protection of the baby, if nothing else. Especially if he's trying to say she's got this, she's got that, And when she would have been given her booking details to her midwife, she'd have had to have given her mental health history over, because things you can't lie about that when you're pregnant. When you go to the GP surgery, see your midwife, they pull up your files, they can see everything. So there's no point in saying, oh, no, nothing wrong with me, I don't have mental health, because it will be there and your prescriptions will be there. He denied the charges. He was trying to blame her, and he had some tears. I'm not a monster. I never have been. Yeah, we disagree. He was asked about the video, which I'm going to show you in a minute, that he made within an hour of being charged with her manslaughter. There was some loud music going on. He's wearing sunglasses and he's got a bottle of Prosecco, drinking this Prosecco. And it says, I have been told off an hour ago on a manslaughter charge. It's all effing this. And then he goes on to call her mama SLUT. for abandoning her while she went to Greece in this short clip. Obviously, the jury didn't believe him. Her best friend gave evidence. I just don't know how they didn't. I mean, I get how they probably didn't, because obviously you and I would think he deserved a murder charge. But it's his actions, isn't it, that's led to her taking her own life. But I think in time and over time, more of this is going to come to light. And we'll probably hear a lot more about that in sentence and remarks as well. Now, I don't know what you guys think, but let me show you this video, okay, actually, no, let me show you the video of his arrest first. Oh, I thought I had it. I thought I had it ready to go. Hang on. I do. Let's just change the screen a second. Can't see the screen at the minute. Hang on. Let me just catch up. No support by the sounds of it. Yeah, play him down. It is awful. They do. They make them believe it is all their own fault, like it's all their own doing. You know, when it isn't. And the real kicker in the teeth is the fact that his new girlfriend, who sat in a courtroom, is like, you know, blowing him little kisses and the I love you eyes at him and everything, knowing that he's contributed in the way that he's contributed to this woman taking her own life, which we know that he'll have been saying, oh, she's the crazy ex, blah, blah, blah. She drove me mad. I didn't do it. It's not as it's all coming out and it's all bollocks and all that. We know that that's what he will say to any person that he meets, and that's if this relationship survives. But, you know, I wish you luck with this man if you think that you can change him, or that you're not going to get the same treatment. This man is a bloody monster, and you absolutely, I wish you good luck with him. You know what you're walking into. So it is what it is. Thank you, Karen. Me. Oh, that one. That one. So many tabs open. Let me just get rid of that one. Okay, let me just make this bigger. So this is the moment that this man is obviously picked up by the police. And these are two completely different people. I'm not going to lie. Okay.
Is there anything in it? Okay, no, nothing in it. I'll put it in there. You give it to me, Cowie? She'll give it to you, mutual buddy. Thank you. All right. Lighter, what's it? Mobile, anything like that? No. Please, have a sit down, buddy. So, Ryan, I'm sorry, mate. I thought that guy fucking cured. I can't, listen, buddy, I'll just be straight with you. I can't discuss it with you now, mate. It's got to be on tape. Do you know what I mean?
Faker.
Okay. We'll get going to what?
Worst fake crier that I've ever had the non-pleasure of ever coming across. So this is the moment that Kiena Dawes' cowardly ex sobbed as he was arrested over the death of the mum that he terrorised. Yeah, he's not sad at all. We can see him sitting there wiping his tears away and that, and I just think, bollocks to you, mate. You're full of shit, innit? It's full of shit. You're talking utter rubbish. Like, you just not even got any tears. You're squeaking like a baby. I hope you squeak like a baby when you're in prison, man. I'm sure they'll make you squeak like a baby. And then, okay, this is the one after he's released. I'm probably going to have to now bloody change the screen, aren't I? Yep. Can hear that a lot clearer on there. Very clearly gives no Fs. No, yep, he certainly is, Donna. He certainly is. He is a top-notch dickhead. Top-notch dickhead. And if he ever sees my video, just to let you know, mate, you're a dickhead. And one of the reasons that I'm putting this on here and that I am putting this on the old TikTok, this is going to go on the Instagram, and so is everyone else going to be doing this. We're going to be sharing your face around so that no other woman can be taken in by a mug like you. I'm not being polite. I don't care. And let me tell you, if you'd come at me with a drill for my teeth, I'd have just took the drill and, well, shoved it up you know where the sun don't shine, because I'm not having none of that bollocks. But you know, on the serious note, the point of just talking about this case and putting these things out there is to make sure that this asshole's face is everywhere, so that the next person that comes across him will see him, will know who the hell he is, and go, no thanks, mate, I'm off. That's if he survives prison, because he might not survive bloody prison yet, you know. Let me get rid of that. That. So many bloody tabs open. I'm gonna get rid of that. So he was asked about that video of him, you know, singing that song, and he said, I don't know what I was doing. I know I did wrong and I did some stupid things. That's me hurting, being blamed for unaliving my kid's mum, the woman I loved. Really? Is that what you call love? Just for all the women out there, if you ever come across this douchebag, that's not love. He doesn't love you. He is an asshole. It's a bit of ASMR now. Sorry. And then I want to go to Lancashire Constabulary, because this is what they put up after the verdict was read out. Ryan Wellings found guilty of coercive and controlling behaviour and assault. They've just named him, so they could have just said Ryan Wellings, but they've said a man has been found guilty of assaulting and coercive controlling a Fleetwood mum who went on to take her own life. Imagine walking your baby, knowing exactly what you're going to do. How desperate must she have been to want to get away from this man and stop her daughter seeing exactly who this man is? I truly hope that you have absolutely no access to your daughter, by the way, ever. And then perhaps maybe when she's grown up, she comes at you for your teeth with a drill and treats you a bit like the way you treated your mum, her mum. Ryan Wellings, pictured over there, beautiful man he is not, was found guilty of domestically abusing 23-year-old Kiena Dawes following a 6-week trial at Preston Crown Court, said 7 in the article. On the 22nd of July 2022, Kiena was sadly found deceased by our British Transport Police colleagues on the railway line near Barnacre. Kiena had been reported missing a short time earlier, having left her young daughter with a friend along with her mobile phone, which contained an unalive note. A jury at Preston Crown Court heard how Kiena was introduced to 30-year-old Wellings in January 2020, and within the first few weeks, he had Kiena's name tattooed on his neck, and then a week later, he had a portrait of her face tattooed on the back of his leg. I knew I'd seen that he'd had the tattoo. However, within a month of the relationship, he started to become abusive towards her. Oh, I just think, girls, you've got that to look forward to, a picture of his deceased ex-partner who took their own life because he's an arsehole. Let that face be a stark reminder to get out when you can. So within the month of the relationship, Wellings started to become abusive to her, resulting in her sending him a message which read, "Stop hurting me now." By April 2020, Wellings had proposed to her, so that's within the 3 months, and had moved to Dorset temporarily during the COVID lockdown to stay with a friend. However, during that month, the same friend noticed that Wellings' behaviour towards Kiena would change dramatically at the drop of a hat. One minute he would buy her extravagant gifts such as champagne, and then the next he would belittle Kiena to the extent she felt on edge around him. The following month, Kiena and Wellings moved in together. On the 3rd of May 2020, Kiena's friend got a call to go to her flat. When she arrived, she found the flat had been trashed, and Kiena told her that Wellings had gotten into a jealous rage and attempted to strangle her with the iPhone charger. Kiena later made a statement to the police on the 29th of May 2020. Wellings had thrown a chair at her after accusing her of being unfaithful. After verbally abusing Kiena and telling her to take her own life, Wellings threw her to the floor, causing her to cut her foot on some smashed glass. I'd have put it in his food. Do you know what? There was this one friend of mine, and she always used to make me die with her stories. And her first husband, she was besotted with him, and he was an asshole. But she was besotted with him. She was one of these, like, once you get married, she's a lot older than me, by the way. She had one of her last babies when I had my middle son. So she was an older mum, and I used to see her dropping the kids off at school, and we just became friends. And she was saying how she was, she loved this man, and she thought she was going to be married forever, and it turned out that he was cheating on her and doing this, that, and the other. And she was like, "Right, you bastard, oh, fuck you." And he ended up giving her an STI and everything, what a recurring one that the one that recurs when you get a bit stressed. And so she has that permanent reminder every now and then of him. And she said, "You know what?" She said, "I made him the most loveliest fucking meal." She said, "I put rabbit droppings in his mince and beef pie, and he ate it, and I fucking enjoyed watching him eat it." I was like, "Get in there, girl." And she said, "Oh, I'd fly at it." She wouldn't take the physical, but he knew what he was doing. And he also had been cheating, and she found out, one of the ways that she found out was because she'd got a letter from the CSA. Oh God, I love that woman. She used to give me the best story. So that was the best one. She said, "Yeah, I fucking made him eat. I put it there. Didn't have a fucking clue. Just blended in with the mince just right for him." And I thought, ha, yeah, it got rabbit dropping. And then I thought to the husband that she's with now, "Don't ever fucking cheat on her, mate, because you've got no hope." But she's a bit of a feisty one. But the mental torture she actually went through with him, even though it wasn't physical, because she would have laid back into him. Trust me, she would have. But it was the emotional, because he knew she loved him, and she'd had the kids with him, and she wanted to be married to him, and she thought she had to stay married to him, and she tried to make it work. And even to this day, she'll say he was the one. Like, he had her heart, and he knew exactly what he was doing when he was going off cheating on her. But yeah, pee myself. I always love it when I've heard that story many times. I can't say it as well as her, but when she tells you the story, it's fucking hilarious. So I always thought, right, I'll keep that in mind. Yeah, I probably would have put the glass in his food, I'm not gonna lie. He then later sent her a message saying, "So disgusted in my life for scaring you like that. Never felt so something about myself." Well, they all do that. "Oh, I didn't mean it. I'm so sorry." Here's the thing, what I don't understand. It seems, I don't know if it's because we know more about it and understand more about it, but it does seem more prevalent, and it might be because people are talking about it more. But I kind of feel that as the generations kind of get older and the women are being educated, you know, that women aren't going to be as tolerable to it. Like, because, we should be teaching them so that they're not being made to feel all of these things that's absolutely not true. They know that they can get out. There's places that they can go. Whereas back in the old days, that didn't exist. Like, you made your bed, you laid in it. It was as simple as that. But that's not the same anymore. And, when they're teaching children about relationships, this should be one of the things and some of the signs and symptoms. But matters of the heart are complicated, I get it. But you would think in time that the amount of women kind of getting stuck in these relationships with these men would get less and less the more educated we're becoming. And it might be that this is like where we're in the phase of a lot of people that got caught up in it before are now getting out of it. We're hearing more about it, and then in time we get to educate the younger generations to come, and then anyone that treats them like shit, they know what to do. I always said to I've always said to my daughter, if anyone ever hit you, first of all, I'll go fucking go round there and take them out. But feel free to just knock them out yourself. Like, do not take that bullshit. Do not do it. And I said to my son, if I ever find out that you've ever hit a woman, I will come round and knock your block off. Simple as that. So don't do it, because I will come round there and I will sort you the fuck out. Simple as that. Don't do it. And so yeah, I'm a bit like that. Donna. Yeah, I'm stubborn. But yeah, that's what I said. I said, if I ever find out you've done it, you've got me to worry about. Don't worry about the police. Just worry about me, because I'll come around and sort you the fuck out. Do not ever let me find out you've laid your hands on another woman. Now, in October 2020, sorry, I had to go back to where I was because I went on a tangent on my story time. Kiena took out a tenancy on the flat in Fleetwood. In 2020, Kiena told Wellings that she was leaving him. He demanded all the money from her bank account. I'd have told him to shove it where the sun does not shine, and then assaulted her in the presence of children. And Kiena ran out of the property in fear. The following day, he did that thing that they do and apologised, and they were back together. And from the outside, for family members, for friends, they can tell them as much as they want that this is toxic, you need to leave. They'll go when they're ready. Because once they're in this, they're kind of stuck in it. Again, matters of the heart are very complicated. And you don't know what other things that he was saying to her. But they are very manipulative in that way. They make themselves, oh, I'm so sorry, blah, blah, blah. The thing should be, if they do it once, leave, because if they do it once, they'll do it again. Now, in February 2021, Kiena fell pregnant. After initially appearing to be excited, Wellings began to emotionally abuse Kiena. That's what they do on a daily basis. And often DV, if it hasn't started, will start. And if it's already begun, it will escalate. And at this point, she believed he'd begun to cheat on her. And such was a deterioration in her mental health she did become suicidal. That could also be not only because of the fact that she thinks that he might have cheated on her, which is a significant impact, but you can get an antenatal depression. Put that with obviously him. It's not just a case of, oh, well, she was a bit upset because he was cheating on her and she wanted to unalive herself. She'd probably at this point been done with all of the other stuff, then pregnant and got all the antenatal hormones affecting her mental health and probably scared for her baby. And then obviously thinking that he'd cheat on her. So, and that's one of the reasons why you should see women. I've said this before on my live, I think it was last night we were talking about it. When I used to go see women, before it all started to change, I was at the beginning of all these changes, right? And we were seeing people in their homes. So we got to meet the women, know their children, they knew who the midwives were. And if we weren't there, they knew who the midwife on the team would be if someone else was coming. But we always did the booking and, postnatally we would go there and that's all gone now. Now you go to the GP surgery. So we miss a lot of stuff. And now some hospitals will have partners in 24/7. And doing that means that the midwives cannot get these women on their own at night time either, because that would be a good time. Many a time we've caught women that we've been concerned about in the middle of the night because we've waited for the partner to leave because visiting hours are over. That's just one of the most stupid things that you could do. Yeah, it might make midwives' lives easier for C-sections when they come round to the ward and that with the care if the partner's there. But to be honest, those arsehole partners aren't doing anything anyway. They're just there to stop the woman speaking to the midwife and speaking her truth. And so those kind of things should be picked up. So I kind of wonder, like, what kind of midwifery care she was getting, because I get that she wouldn't have had the midwife coming in to the home like they're used to. But the question would be asked, and yes, she will have denied it. But there's police reports, right? And those police reports trigger a series of events so that they let the health visitor know. Then it's the health visitor's job, if the police haven't let the midwifery team know, to let the midwifery team know, hey, your pregnant woman has got a black eye. The police came out. So even if she doesn't press the charges, and there's a verbal argument, the fact she's pregnant should have triggered enough for the services to step in and see what the hell was going on while this young girl is pregnant. So I'm not sure what happened there. Will we find out? I don't know. Because she would probably be considered to be out of the postnatal period. So she wouldn't, like, when there's a period of time after you have a baby, that if you take your own life or something happens to you postnatally, it's recorded in the I forget what it's called now, but it's documented, where they look at maternal deaths, and that would, if it fell in within the certain time frame, if she'd unalived herself, she would have been, that would have gone in there, and that would have sparked investigations. But I think probably she was out with that. I can't remember what the duration is, but I don't know. No, she might well have been. I think she might have been out of it. I can't remember the duration, but there's so many points that this could have been picked up, even if she was sort of saying, "Oh, nothing happened, nothing happened." They could have had more input with her. But the whole antenatal period is not fun, if you feel you're being cheated on and being abused. Kiena wrote that he would tell me no one would ever believe me about him abusing me, another classic line, due to my mental health. And we need to educate people that that's not true. He would say she doesn't want to be with me because I'm too fat, or he would say he doesn't want to be with me because I'm too fat. There's not a bloody fat bone in her body. And he would say that I'm stuck with him because no one else would want to be with me. My ex-husband told me that once, and I told him, get the fuck out. If no one want me, no one want me. I've got my kids and I'm good. See you later. Bye. I don't care. I am who I am, and that's it. You can't pull that one over me. And then I went on holiday. We were when we split up, and the first thing I did to prove a point was add a little bit of a holiday fling. So yeah, there was that, and we won't talk about that. But that happened. Yeah, I had to prove a point because my ex-husband was a knob, the first one. But that's what they do. They try and wear you down, and try and say no one will care. You'll be in trouble. They'll take the kids off you. That's not true. Because of her vulnerable state, Wellings told Kiena that if she reported him to the authorities, the child would be taken off her as soon as it was born. Bollocks. That doesn't happen like that. If anything, they'll support her to get away from him. So anyone listening to this who is pregnant, that's bollocks. On the 17th of April 2021, Kiena kicked Wellings out of the flat because he'd been cheating on her. She packed his belongings. I would have thrown him out the window on fire, but she packed his belongings and put them outside, and that resulted in Wellings' associates making threats, including to set her car on fire. And then Wellings updated his Facebook profile, showing him sitting in a car, smiling, holding a lighter. Wouldn't have even given it the time of day. I'd have just said, go for it, mate. It's insured, and then I'll have you done for us. And the following month, Kiena, who worked as a hairdresser, told one of her customers during an argument in her flat that he'd smashed up a memorial area she'd made for her father, who died the previous July. What a bastard. On the 5th of July, 2021, Wellings again assaulted her, leaving her with a black eye. In a statement, Kiena said, I was about 6 months pregnant when Ryan gave me a black eye and he hit me to the floor. Ryan tried to explain to family it was self-defense because I was apparently insane. Again, that's that thing, isn't it? She's insane. I rang the police straight away. Prior to the police arrival, he was telling me that if I continued, I would get our baby taken away from us as soon as it was born, and that this would all be my fault. Now, just let me be clear on this. In the system, if you have a baby and you're in a DV situation, that isn't true. There was this one time when I was a student midwife and I was in my last year, and we were working with a family, and the partner was an absolute douchebag, and he had this girl, he'd assaulted her, he'd used a knife on her, and they were still working with them to help them keep the baby. It wasn't at the point where they would want to remove the baby, but they were heavily being monitored. And obviously he was trying to change, and he'd been going to all these anger management. So he'd been doing all the things that he was supposed to be doing. And by all accounts, he'd been meeting all the criterias and stuff. So some of the stuff was obviously older behaviours, but I sort of came in mid, team meetings with social services, health visitors. There was myself, there was my mentor, and I was put in the worst situation because my mentor was on holiday. She said, "But you're on your third year now, so everything will be fine. Like, if you've got any concerns, just obviously don't, you'll be fine. Just obviously give someone a call, ring this midwife and get some advice," sort of thing. So I went into the house and I started to do all the checks on the baby and that. And I took the nappy off, and there was what appeared to be a bruise. And I had to address that, and I was on my own. And I was like, oh my God. But apparently, because they said, oh, it was there when the baby was born. And I said, well, the pediatrician needs to have written that on the notes, because obviously we don't know it was there because we were not there. And that's really important stuff if you're a doctor and you do see something like that. And I do believe that it was there, but obviously we had to chase that up, because that could have then got this couple that had been going through all of these things, that he was trying to turn himself around and stuff. And this baby then appeared to have like what appeared to be a bruise, but there was nothing described. There was nothing of this description in any of this baby's notes. So, and I was on my own. I was like, bloody hell. So I was like, right, no, that's fine. Like, obviously I got on the phone straight away when I left the building. I weren't going to push my luck. I said, oh, well, get in touch with whoever and make sure that's corrected. And then I obviously made the calls that I needed to call. I weren't going to do it while he was in there. But in a situation where he's trying to make his changes, that could have easily made him flip his lid. He didn't obviously flip while I was there. And I don't know how they're doing now. I don't know if they're still together. I know he was quite an asshole. But they were trying to work it out, and the services were trying to work with them to work it out. So it's not true. It takes a lot for services to come in and remove your baby from birth, right? And even then, that's real serious if they come in on the day that you give birth and take the baby, because even with other people, they go in and they'll have the baby with them for 3 days before they remove. I think that's worse, to be honest. I mean, I don't know, because some people are breastfeeding their babies and then the services come in and take them, but and they're all extreme cases, but there's extreme circumstances to them. Even people that have used rugs and stuff, they don't always have their babies removed from them. Services will try and work with them, even if it's just, so it's not true. It's just not true. So don't ever believe a man when he tells you that, because that's bollocks. If I continue to take the pain, it'd be my fault. On police arrival, Ryan's attitude changed. He put on an act. He was very pleasant. I told the police that it was just a verbal argument because I was scared about losing our baby and losing Ryan. He then texted her later to say, I'm so sorry for everything, that I love you. Let me just check chat. Yeah, okay, just caught up a little bit. It's good to see you guys chit-chatting with each other. On the 4th of August 2021, Kiena called the police to say she had split up with Wellings and he was trying to take property from the flat. During the conversation, an officer captured a body-worn camera. On-body-worn camera. Kiena said that Wellings had previously assaulted her and said that he just says, if I ring anyone to help, they'll just take my kid. In October 2021, Kiena's baby was born, and although Wellings' behaviour initially improved, he soon became verbally and physically abusive again, which is often the case. Kiena wrote in a statement that when the baby was born and throughout her labour, he was amazing with me. So I thought it was perfect and to stay with him. And it wasn't long until he was hurting me again. And I told him I didn't want anything to happen around the baby. I started to get hit around the head every week. I'd hit him back. And even if it was just a slap, but he made me believe that that's acceptable because I argue back with him. And the thing is, a strong man would never do that to somebody that they know will retaliate back. They just wouldn't. They know who they can manipulate and make feel like they're nothing. They know how that they can do it. This would happen in the car, in the house, anywhere. Kiena then wrote a statement that around the turn of that year, Wellings became violent again and threatened her with a drill. She stated that we fell out and I told him I'm not sure I want this anymore. And a few days later, an argument began and he got the drill. He turned it on and put it in my face and told me he would drill out the teeth out of my mouth. He also stated that he would throw my father's ashes out of the window. Bastard. In a text exchange in 2022, Wellings acknowledged that he'd physically assaulted Kiena and accepted that it was wrong, stating, I'm sorry for that, really, no excuse for it. Kiena later described an incident on March 22nd where Wellings dunked her head in the baby bath during the argument, and she said that the incident left her feeling suicidal. 4 days later, Kiena made an entry in the notes section of her phone of all the abusive, threatening things he had said to her. She stated Wellings had said to her at separate times, I'm going to make your life hell. You think your life hell is now. When the baby gets here, I'll make it hell. I will smash this flat to bits. I better stop those tears or he will. No one will want me because I have stretch marks. And she added, I put a picture on Instagram So he said that he would throw acid all over my face and watch it burn, so I'll never be able to take a selfie again. On the 13th of June, Wellings and Kiena got into an argument after he used the aftershave from her late father's memory box, something that she had asked him not to do in the past. During the argument, Wellings assaulted Kiena. 2 days later, a witness saw Wellings being verbally aggressive and abusive towards Kiena while they were sat in the car at traffic lights. On the 11th of July 2022, Welling subjected Kiena to a serious assault and it rendered her unconscious. In the call, she said, "It's a domestic violence. He knocked me out, but I've woken up on the floor. There's blood everywhere, but I can't get the baby because I'm covered in blood." During the attack, Wellings removed the remote panic alarm, which the police had previously fitted, so Kiena was uncertain how to activate it and summon help. Wellings later then blamed her for that assault. He was then arrested the same day. He was released on bail, and he had conditions not to contact Kiena. On the 17th of July, he rang her off another person's phone. He began threatening her, and a police officer did speak to Kiena the following day about the call, but he wasn't arrested. Wellings, now with no fixed address, but last of Houseman Close, Blackpool, is going to be sentenced on the 16th of January. And then that's just some of the things there that the police had said. I know, the drill is terrible. I hope someone in prison drills him or knocks his teeth out just so he's not such a pretty boy anymore. I hope he gets what he deserves. And he deserves nothing but the best, doesn't he? Asshole. Like, literally. Let me just... Hang on. What the hell? What? Cancel. Right, hang on. Want a picture. Let me just swap the screens around. So just see. Not there, not me. So that is the case of Kiena Dawes. Obviously, we'll get more information, I'm sure, in sentence and remarks. There's always a lot of information in those that we don't necessarily hear in the media. So I'll be interested to kind of hear, stuff that's gone on. But obviously, I don't know what the services were doing and why this wasn't picked up, but this man drove this woman to take her own life, and in some way she probably thought, you know what, you're not going to fucking take my life, I'll take it myself, which is horrible. She probably felt trapped, isolated, belittled, useless, bad mom, all the things that he will have ever said. She will have felt everything, and that's what will have made her make that decision, because how desperate must you be to get away from someone and your life to take your own life, leaving your 9-month-old baby? Bearing in mind, she's lost her dad, so she knows what it's like to lose a parent, and this baby will never have gotten to know her mum at all because of this man, because of what he did. And so I'll loudly and proudly share his face all over the internet, because people need to know about him. Watching our friend over there on TikTok who went through DV herself. Not that friend, an actual friend. And her partner, ex-partner, he ended up doing, he's done some time, but he's due out next month, I think. And obviously that's bringing up a load of things for her because she's obviously been feeling safe because he's behind bars, and now she's got the reality of him coming out, and he was a bastard. I was listening to one of the voice notes or one of the recordings she made, and she was feeding the baby, and he told her she was going to end up in the morgue. I said, "Oh, mate, if I'd have heard that, he'd have been in the morgue." Yeah, he was just vile piece of shit. But now she's got that, you see. So again, everyone needs to know, don't they? Because they do come out, and he will come out if he gets time. So everyone that can see his face, the better, the more, the better. We share. But it's sad, isn't it? And then I've got my friend in the US who is a DV advocate and goes to court with victims and helps them fill forms out and whatnot, and does all that so they can get rehoused and stuff. She is worried. She posted, because she covered this yesterday as well, and she was saying like, she messaged and said, "Oh, can you share the video? Blah blah blah. I'm just worried. This, that, and the other. He's coming out, and I need to obviously make people aware, and I'm trying to get a perimeter ban thing so he can't come within a certain area of where she lives." So yeah, these arseholes get out. So loudly and proudly, we'll share all the domestic abusers' faces out there, so that when people get into relationships with them, at least they'll know what it is that they're getting involved with. Or run the mile. Like I'd say run a mile, don't matter how bloody pretty they are. If they're horrible on the inside and it derives from their mouth and their hands, then they can be as beautiful as whatever. They're just horrible, ugly people. And when prison is done with him and sorted his dentures out for him, no one's really going to be interested in him, are they? So there's that. Anyway, so that is the case. I'll keep you posted on sentencing. It will probably just be a video, but I will be back on TikTok a tad later. And I hope you guys have a good rest of your afternoon, morning, evening, wherever you are in the world, and stay safe. And if you see something, say something. And rest in peace, Kiena. Rest in peace. I'll see you soon, guys. Bye for now.